My name is Jen Jacobs, and I went to Urban for about a year and a half before moving out to Phoenix in October of 2010, and was so thankful to get to be a part of Urban and serve along some great people there. I'm thankful to Ben and Katie and the whole team just for the encouragement they've given me and still give me. I have a relationship with a lot of those people at Urban, and was just such a great time in my life, and I thank you guys so much for the support you've given me, and I thank you for the opportunity to even share. Pastor Ben asked me to share for a few minutes about what God's done in my life, and I want to take the next couple minutes and just give you a little glimpse of the awesome things that God has done in the last few years. I grew up in the church, went to a Christian school, preschool through 12th grade, knew the Bible stories, knew about God, Jesus, the Christmas stories. I believed Jesus was the Son of God, but didn't actually really believe it. I believed it in my head, but not enough to believe that what he says is actually true. And through that process, I knew all the rules, and I would be in tons of relationships. I went to guys for emotional security and knew I wasn't allowed to have sex because at a Christian school, they really teach you that sex is in fact the devil. You should avoid sex at all costs and never get pregnant. And I knew that, so what I would do was just kind of push the boundaries in other areas with my boyfriends. We would say, hey, we're not allowed to have sex. The principal says we're not allowed to, but we can pretty much do whatever else we want. So really kind of started sexual sin really early on, kind of looking for love in those places. And then when I was about 17, I began playing club basketball and met the two only gay girls that I'd ever met in my life. And I wasn't even really sure what being gay was, but I knew these girls were fun and cool, and kind of started to question, not necessarily was I gay, but attractions and emotions, and kind of really was tempted, honestly, to go that direction. And shortly thereafter that, began dating a girl. From about 17 to 25, I was in 3 serious relationships with women, and in between I would date guys here and there, but really just seeking to be loved, seeking to be idolized, wanting connection with people at that deep level. And that led me to being 25, where I had my master's, I had a great relationship with a girl, I had a condo, I had friends, I had everything that you could ever want on the outside, but on the inside I was sad, I was anxious, I was depressed, I felt like I was crying out to God and he wasn't hearing me. I'd still read my Bible here and there, I'd still go to church here and there, but I knew I wasn't right with God, and I knew whatever God I thought I was serving, whatever Jesus I thought I was serving, was not the true God. And through that process, had a couple Christian friends that had recently become Christians. They encouraged me to go to this discipleship program in San Diego. And at that point, I was just so desperate, and I knew that Jesus was the only option. And so packed my car, broke up with my girlfriend, quit my job, and left and went to San Diego. And that was the hardest decision of my life. That was not my willpower. I can look back and tell you it was Jesus alone that gave me the strength. I didn't know how to function. I'd been in relationships since I was in 4th grade, and so I didn't even know how to be on my own, let alone go to a crazy discipleship program with all these Christians. And through that process of learning more about the Bible through those 10 months and learning more about people and relationships, really began to just confess my sin and turn to Jesus and learn about his word, and learn about that he's giving me a new desire, that he's actually, as Romans said, he's made me dead to sin. Because Jesus died on the cross, not only did he make me right with God, now I get to go to heaven, but beyond that, I'm no longer a slave to that person anymore, that the old Jen is gone, and now I can live to Jesus and what he wants me to do, not because I am a good person or because I have strong willpower or because I read the right books or had the right mentor. It was because of Jesus, and his word changed me. I learned that 1 Corinthians talks about always having a way of escape in temptation. I learned that no matter what my emotions or attractions even wanted, that Jesus would give me a way of escape. And through that, my desires did change, and I had a couple years where I was just purposefully single. I didn't want to turn to men for anything or have another idol instead of Jesus. I just wanted God. That's all I wanted. I knew that was the only answer. And I knew through that process that the opposite of homosexuality is not heterosexuality. It wasn't a relationship that was going to get me right with God. It wasn't going to change my desires. It was Jesus. It was holiness. There's no person, no husband that was going to change me and make me right with God. It was Jesus alone. And he brought me an awesome husband through that process of a couple years being single, began dating someone in February of 2010, and got married in October of 2010. And it is awesome to get to look back at my life and see a complete transformation that was not my own. I never would have imagined this, not just being gay, but not living for myself anymore, that I can actually live for Jesus and his desires, not my own. And I'm just so thankful for his saving power, and that it's not me that did this. It's not anything inside me. It's not a person that made me do this, the culture didn't make me do this, but Jesus alone did. And through this, I know I do not have to return to that sin. I am dead to sin, and God will always give me a way out of temptation. And my desires have changed. I love to wake up in the morning and look at my husband and just thank God for the work he has done in my life. Thank you guys so much for letting me share. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask Ben and Katie, and I'd be happy to chat with you about it. Enjoy the service.